you on mute, but I can still hear you.
You probably heard me from Concord.
Huh?
You probably heard me from Charlotte, all the way in Concord.
I certainly did. Oh my gosh. Welcome everybody to season 5 of Head to Head Sports. I am your host, Brian Parker, along with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. How the hell is everybody doing? How you doing, Rand?
Man, what's going on, brother, man? You know, we had some trips I saw you on, trips you saw me on, and just had a good time this summer, but now it's time to get back into the nitty-gritty of it.
Oh my gosh,
it's
man.
Right around the corner. I can smell it, baby. I can see it.
Oh, man, it's in the air. Oh, my gosh. I am just so ready, whether it's NFL football, college football coming down the pike. Man, it's going to be football so many days of the week. My poor wife, I just told her just go ahead and get on Amazon, get a subscription for all the nachos, queso, make sure that all the Coronas are in the house because I ain't going nowhere. It's going to be football nonstop. Cannot wait. Been waiting for this for a minute. So, yes. Season 5. Y'all, that really means we started this in 2019. That means that we have ran over 95 shows.
Which is crazy, man. It's crazy.
That's nuts. I got to see the official number because we're so close to the 100th episode of Head to Head Sports. And that does not happen without just some dedication and support from those of you guys that are watching us now. We are streaming live and direct. We are on Amazon Fire TV. We're on Roku TV. Oh, Lord, you know what? I was about to say we're on Instagram. But it'd be nice if I start the feed. I was so excited. I forgot to start the Instagram. Now we're on Instagram. So we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook Live. A couple of channels on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube. So there is no reason that you cannot find us or catch us somewhere. So we do appreciate you guys for tuning in, whether you're watching us on the live stream or whether you are watching us on a replay. We do definitely appreciate that. If you want to join our YouTube channel, it's Empower TV Network. All you have to do is just search Empower TV on YouTube. Do that, click on the bell. It'll always let you know when we go live, when we post any kind of content. Now, we also have our Empower TV channel. So there's also going to be other shows and things on there as well. Click on your anything that you like to see more of. It helps with the algorithm. It helps get it out to a bigger audience. But also, hey, you can do your part too by making sure that not only do you like any of our content, but make sure that you share the page and let other people know about it so that we can grow. We got Mr. I saw Kent Hyde join in. Hey, Kent, how you doing? I saw, let's see, Robbie Jenkins. What's up, Robbie? And what's up, guys? The three-man champ is here. Okay.
Three-man champ. What's that about?
Yeah, what's that about? And speaking of which, and then our page, the water cooler, started a while ago. Was it 12 years now? How long water cooler been around?
Whew, boy.
Something like that.
12 years. 12 years. You're right. Yep.
Christ. So I know every year you put on your climb up the mountain, and this year you're doing something different because you're going to do it through ESPN, right?
We're doing it through Yahoo this year. Just
because that's it.
Yeah, it allows me to take away games, only have the games that I want, which is the nighttime games, of course, and some of the Thanksgiving stuff. So it gives me control of that, and I ain't got this tabulate, which is like wearing me out.
I don't know how you did you. I mean, was this an Excel spreadsheet that you were doing? I mean, how did you do that?
Nah, man, it was basically sitting there and going through comment by comment by comment. Yes. So it's amazing that I kept it up for this long, but I could like last year.
When you had 15, 20 people doing it, that probably wasn't that bad.
Exactly.
But over the years, it has grown a lot and it's gotten so competitive
Yeah, yeah. Like last season, we had like 70 some players. So you can imagine 70 some players, 3 games per week. And I'm going through basically what, 200 some comments every week. So yeah,
Oh
that
my
had
God.
to end, brother.
And you know what? And to be that accurate with it, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So,
Try my best. Try my best.
I mean, anybody, is it too late for anybody to register on it or anything?
Nope, it's not too late. I'll put the link out there again tomorrow for anybody that wants to join. I just had somebody hit me up, private message, wanting to know how. We're sitting at about 60 some players right now, which is very good.
What?
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be a great season, man. I can't wait to get it started. And like you were saying, it's not just the pros. I'm jumping off topic right now, but football in general is back. I'm so happy. And it's not just about the pros. We got college football that's around the corner. And with these expanded playoffs now, 12 teams are going to be in the playoffs. Nobody's going to be left out. No undefeateds are going to be left out. It's on and popping, man. It's on.
And that's going to be crazy. And I'm going to throw another thing out there too after I read the comments because it's going to play into this season, especially here in the state of North Carolina. But Kent says Randall lounging and recording the DNC thug nerd. Oh
What's up, Mr. Kent?
my gosh! Always the colorful one. You need the colorful commentator of the year award. He'd get it every year.
No doubt.
And then Robbie says the head-to-head over Randall and Chris last year. Oh Lord, that's what he's talking about the 3-man champ.
Can we cuss on the air?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Please.
What the fuck ever, man? You beat me once.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And then Robbie says, "Has Chris Forma signed yet?" Haha. Anthony, what's up, crew? First time starting my dynasty fantasy football this year. Now, what's going on, Anthony? Anthony, we're gonna talk about. Glad you joined. We're gonna definitely get into your commanders more in depth on next week's call. So, guys, I know we normally do a 4-week lead into the season, but like Rand alluded to earlier, man, we just had some traveling going the first part of August. Man, the first couple of days of August, I went from traveling to Nashville, Tennessee for a business trip, then flying home early, driving down to Miami, jumping on a cruise boat, being on that for 5 days, driving back from Miami. So I've been all over the place, and then I'll be in New York City at the end of the month. So it hadn't stopped yet. Rand also this month, August 4th, your boy turned 50, joined the 50 Club.
All
So
right, all right.
well, a lot of crazy stuff going on in the month of August. With
Yeah, my birthday is Monday actually, so
my
I'll be running another lap around the sun. Appreciate and
Woo!
also appreciate the offer a long time ago. You invited me to New York to check out the Yankees and whatnot, man. I
Sure.
could not make it this time, but definitely keep me in mind for any future, trips and
Oh,
stuff
that's
there.
that's a standing invite, man.
I'm
Anytime.
telling you.
But yeah, so we're gonna be up there for Labor Day weekend. Hopefully, we're gonna uh, hopefully get to check out a Yankee game. I believe they're playing the Cardinals Labor Day weekend, so hopefully we'll be able to check out a game or two. Let's see, Randall, did you get your AARP card yet?
You know what? A funny story with that. Who asked that?
That was from Anthony.
So, Anthony, check this out, brother. I'm in like complete denial. I have about 5 letters sitting up there on my damn desk that I'm refusing to open.
Bro,
Their AARP benefits.
tell you what, because Robbie also said mine was a 16th. 58. Happy birthday to you, Robbie. That is what's up, man. A lot of Leos up in here. But man, my wife turned 50 about a month and a half before I did. And I started laughing because right as her birthday hit, stuff started showing up in the mail. I'm like, do these people just hover around your house? As soon as you hit that 50 piece, they just start throwing shit in your mailbox.
Oh, you gonna get it, bro. If you haven't
I
got
mean,
it,
bro, I ain't had to send them nothing or anything. As soon as I hit it, I think the day before I hit it, I started getting stuff in the mail from them. I'm like,
yep.
yo, I didn't
They
even
don't
see
play around.
nothing. They already sent me a card. I didn't
I
even
probably got a card. I just don't know because I haven't opened
You ain't
it.
opened it, bro. I didn't even ask, and I'm like, the hell? Like, damn, boy, I wish my payroll would be like that, just right on time,
Insane.
like that. Good God! But you know, the other thing that I was going to jump into, and we'll jump into these teams is, I don't know. There's a lot of states now that have opened up to sports books. North Carolina opened up ran to sports book during March Madness.
Yes.
And the first day they opened up the sports book, they had taken in over $24 million in bets
Yeah.
and awarded out $12 million in bets. That was back in March on the first day. Now, that was during the time where they just came in. So where they were doing that whole thing, you know, bet $5, they give you $250 credit. I ain't gonna lie, Ram. I signed up for 4 of them and I had $250 for all 4 of them. And I was,
Brother, look,
and I'm gonna tell you something. I was hitting. I
I,
cashed.
I got up over $500 doing the exact same thing.
God. I was hitting so good on them on that March Madness. It was amazing. And I still play today. Baseball is a little bit harder, but I love the prop bets where you can bet on number of strikeouts a pitcher is going to have, home
Yeah.
runs, number of hits, runs, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I
Yeah.
say
If
all that to
anybody will score in the first inning, that's another one.
yeah, yeah. You know, I stay away from that one because I'm like,
That was kind of iffy. Yeah.
but the odds go up on stuff like that because it's like, man, who knows? Or the first 5 innings, you know, how many runs it's going to be and that kind of stuff. So, you know, the crazier the prop, the higher the odds. And you can, if you hit, well, you can hit. And I've had some big hits. I've had some over $500 hits on like FanDuel and DraftKings and Bet365 and BetMGM. You know, I'm naming
All
them
of it.
all of them. And I can only imagine what this NFL season is going to be like now that North Carolina has sports books. And I'm sure a lot of y'all out there in other states have sports books. Some states don't have it yet, but my God, it's going to definitely change how people are tuning in and catching up on sports in North Carolina. It looks like Kent says Jordan's double nickel returning from retirement against the Knicks 55 on October the 25th. The double Nick. Ken, you're in such good shape, man. It's hard to believe you're gonna be 55. That's crazy. And Anthony, I do live bets during the game, big payout. Yes, they do a lot of that too. So the live bets are huge. Cannot wait to indulge in that. But I will say before we get started, make sure, guys, that you never bet more than you are willing to lose.
Exactly. You got to know when to stop with that.
Yep.
Like they were giving out the $250 bonuses, some of them just $200, but
Mhm.
I never lost any of the money. And if I won something, I never spent that amount that I won. I just always went home with a profit. And you
Mhm.
got to know when to quit because the
Gotcha.
whole angle with that, with those props out there, is to get you hooked
Yeah.
to where you can't stop.
Man, I saw people that were jumping on this that didn't know anything about sports. Guys were telling me that their wives was on it and that they were. And the funny thing is that they were just randomly guessing and winning.
Yeah.
Think about what they were betting on, and they were just still winning and hitting and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, they're doing that now because they're trying to grease those wheels to make sure that they have you later on when now that
Exactly.
you're using their money, you using your money. Um,
There's a reason they threw it out there right before March Madness. They know what they're doing, man. They know what they're going to do.
Man, that was crazy. So, looking forward to seeing how that's going to impact the NFL season. It definitely will. So we'll see how that goes. Well, look, y'all. Like I said, normally we have 4 weeks. We normally do an AFC. We'll do 8 AFC teams. I'm sorry, we'll do 4 AFC teams, 4 NFC teams, and we'll do it 4 weeks, and we'll get all 32 teams in.
Yeah,
We're
give a quick shout out to my boy JT who's watching, man. What's up,
okay.
Jay?
What's up? We'll normally do it that way, but because the month got so condensed on us, we're actually going to attempt to do 16 this week of the AFC, and then the other 16 next week of the NFC. James Thompson, what's up, fam? So we're going to try to do it that way. So if you have a team that's in the AFC and you want to throw anything out about them, please feel free to do that. We will get to the NFC next week. We will talk about them crazy Dallas Cowboys. I sent you something earlier because I saw that crazy ass meme earlier, and even when I said it to my wife, she said already. I said it never stops. It never stops. I
They
said,
going to the Super Bowl, evidently.
look. It wasn't only that they picked themselves to go to the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs, but they decided to beat the Chiefs by 38-14. They decided to pass by Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit, and Philadelphia. And I'm sitting there going, how the hell do you do that when you ain't done it in 29 years? I'm just sitting there going, let's bump the brakes. Can you sign your receiver first? I mean, damn. Let's get stuff in order before y'all start down this path. Start having ticket tape parades in October. After you go 5-0 after beating every bum in the NFC. I'm just like, can we please? Aloha from the islands, gentlemen. What's going on, Wes?
My man Wes watching from Hawaii, literally.
What's up, Wes? I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the love. But yeah, so it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy season. The Cowboys gonna do the cowboy things. We gonna get on them. I'm gonna make up some videos and memes because they make it so easy to make fun of them. But to already be talking about going to the Super Bowl, look, y'all, we want to talk about your expectations. The slate is clean. Everybody's 0-0. So you can dream big, you can look big, but at the same time, you gotta look at your roster. You got to see where they were last year and see what did they do in the offseason to improve to get to that point. If your team only won 2 games last year, I got a good prediction for you. They ain't going to the Super Bowl this year. Now, can they build on that 2-win season? I hope so. But is that 5 wins? Is that 8 wins? Is it a 9-8? Probably not. My Panthers still look like shit. So because for the last scene, we still got a short ass quarterback, and I still got a problem with that.
You didn't grow none over the summer.
He ain't grow a damn bit. Don't even look like he added no damn muscle.
I'm like, bro, did. It had at least gotten a weight room.
Like, bro, do you know who you playing against? When they and and I'm not gonna jump on them right now so much, but they won't even play him during the preseason. No, we need to see this dude. Don't let me wait until September the 11th to see this bullshit. I need to see this now. I need to know
how badly that irritates me, man.
Man, you ain't gonna play him at all. How y'all feel about a lot of your teams out there? And I get it. Look, we went from 4 preseason games to 3 preseason games. They're heavily talking about going to an 18-game season and only having 2 preseason games. Okay, that's fine if you can evaluate your talent. They do a lot of joint practices and things like that. I get that. So you have time to evaluate your team and your roster and stuff like that. I get that. But your first team needs to get some work in before you just roll them out on opening day. You can't use your regular season games to be de facto preseason games. Otherwise, what was the point of getting rid of the preseason games? And you can't guard the quarterback from getting hurt because he got 17 games where he can get hurt. Ain't no red jersey on any of them 17 games. He can get hurt in game 1, like Aaron Rodgers did 4 plays into the season. You can protect him all preseason. 4 plays in, Aaron Rodgers' season was over.
You're a wrap, man. And it just irritates me so bad because, you got people like quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes out there, and he's getting his time in, And we got Bryce Young here that was so horrible last year.
Yeah.
And on top of being horrible, we got a brand new, pretty much offensive line. He has a brand new center that he has to worry about getting an exchange from. It's not the same in practice. It's not the same in joint practices.
No.
When those lights get bright, we all know things change, man. It really does. And it affects people. He's got wide receivers on both sides of the field. Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh, the draft pick that they picked up, the number 1 draft pick. He's got no time with them against other teams. And it's a whole lot different when you're going against other teams than it is your own team.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see, Anthony, my Oregon Ducks, Bo Nix looks great. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all that pans out. Some of these new players coming in. Wes says, I for one am looking forward to paying $3.50 to see the Panthers play later this year. When them tickets get wholesaled out. Look,
Did he say $3.50?
and he ain't that far off. I remember last year when the damn beers cost more than the tickets.
That's terrible.
And then all you got to do, Wes, once you get in, is just wait a little bit, look down there, and go, "Ain't nobody coming. Let's go on down there." Yeah. You go ahead and get them real good seats. Just wait for a minute. They're not going to come. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Kent says no arguments on the Bryce narrative after Randall explained why knowledge is king. Yep, absolutely. Again, I hate to call somebody a year in or not. We didn't even wait for a year to call somebody a bust. But again, my position on quarterback, y'all, is always, especially when you take a quarterback, when you bet your franchise on a quarterback with the number one overall pick, this has to be a game-changing quarterback. It has to be somebody that's a force multiplier. If they come in and they basically are Trent Dilfer, that's not a force multiplier. That's just somebody that can steady the ship and not get in their own way and basically let their great defense or let their great skill position players around them do what they do best. That's not being a force multiplier. Think about Tom Brady, somebody that it didn't matter whose name was on the back of the jersey. He made them better just because he put them in positions to win. That's a force multiplier. I'm not looking for Bryce Young to be Tom Brady, but I am looking for anybody that you bless with that number one pick to come in and be able to put their. Now, look, somebody's going to say, well, Brian, he didn't have a line. He didn't have this. He didn't have that. He didn't have that. All of that is true. But a lot of those guys, talents, hell, when Cam Newton came in, he didn't have a lot of that stuff with him either. And he was wrecking damn shop
What about
because
something even a little bit more recent? What about CJ Stroud last year? He had
Stroud, yeah.
nobody heard of his wide receivers before CJ Stroud
And
started.
we did this show last year, and we were talking about Houston, and we were talking about Tank Dell and some of these other guys as his receivers. All we kept going was who?
Nico Collins, what?
Who that?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, nah, they're gonna be. I said they're gonna be number 4. Hell, if there was anything under number 4, they were gonna be that. Because there was nothing to look at and go, there's nothing on this roster. I remember saying that. There's nothing on Houston's roster that scares me.
I was with you.
And it was like, okay, so he came in and he did his thing. He didn't sit there and go, okay, I got a bunch of no names and everything else. He came in and he became a force multiplier. Now, is that going to continue this year? We'll talk about that. Teams have a lot more tape on him now. Are they going to figure him out? Probably so to an extent. But he has something to build on. Mighty Mouse? I don't think so. Only thing he got to build on is standing on the apple box. But anyway, let me stop on Mighty Mouse. Wes said, we talking about practice? Practice? We talking about a franchise player. Yes, and that's the crazy part. Oh my gosh. What's up, Rick? Next subject, y'all. Randall's son CJ was special.
For those that don't know, Kent says that CJ Stroud looks like my illegitimate son. I wish he was. Give Pop some money. You know what I'm saying?
Anything you want to share with us?
No.
Okay. Because we will be talking about your favorite conference first, and massage polish may come up. It ain't going to ever get.
Will.
Let's crack into it. We got the AFC North. Man, this is the fiercest conference in the AFC from top to bottom. This conference, year after year, continues to just sit there, and the cream always rises to the top. You've got what do you say? Musicians get around like Tupac. You never know, man.
Hey, he know what's up.
And the musicians are some Rolling Stones. Don't get it twisted, man. If you're a young cat and you trying to get you some women, hang around some musicians because they always around. I'm just saying that's what I would do. Become a musician's best groupie. Be like the helper. Hey, bro, you need help getting the instruments off the bus. What you need? I got you. Just stay backstage with them and just watch. It'll happen. But anyway, um, yeah, it was crazy because yeah, one of my friends is with the Force MDs, and I'm just like, wow, yeah, this is nice. I like this. But anyway, so the AFC North, man, you've got Rams, Pittsburgh Steelers, who did something that is not done often, which is flipping an entire quarterback room. I mean, just everybody that was a quarterback last season for the Pittsburgh Steelers is no longer there, which is just insane, Rand. How do you see your Steelers stacking up with the Ravens, the Bungles, and I can't call them the Bungles no more, the Bengals and the Doo-Doos this year?
I tell you what, man, this out of all the divisions was the hardest one for me to pick again this year. It's like literally impossible because it's just loaded with talent, and everybody in the division got a little bit stronger.
Yep.
Maybe except for Cincinnati, they didn't do too much. But Pittsburgh, like you were saying, they completely flipped the quarterback room, brought in Russell Wilson, had a nice addition from the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields, in case Russell Wilson doesn't work out. They're both mobile. Fields more mobile than Russ. They got a brand new offensive line, drafted some good pieces there. Pittsburgh is ready to roll, man. They really are. I'm not going to be a homer and say this is a team that's loaded and about to go to the Super Bowl like some team in Dallas that I won't name. I will say Pittsburgh is not going to be last place. I'm so sick of seeing that last place prediction. It's been like for the past 4 years in a row, Steelers are supposed to be last in the North. And all we do is make playoffs. It's crazy to me. I think this year they're going to be second. I give them second. I'm not going to say they're better than the Ravens. I got the Ravens coming in first. I got Pittsburgh lined up at second. I had the Doo-Doos at third. And I got the Bengals coming in last just because they didn't do too much on the offensive line front. Their defense got a lot weaker. And you got Burrow just going to be coming back into the mix, relearn some things after almost a full year off. But how you see it?
Okay, so let me see. So you got the Doo-Doos last, you said?
No. I got the Ravens first. I have to put them first. They got Derrick Henry. Woo.
I know.
Woo, on top of an already strong run game. So I had to give them first. I got Pittsburgh second.
Okay.
I got Cleveland coming in third.
Okay.
And I got Cincinnati coming in last. Just because I was not impressed by the moves Cincinnati made in the offseason, because, of course, Joe Burrow coming back after being gone for a full year.
Yeah, so that's what really tripped me up, because when I looked at it, I agree with you on everything that you said. I don't have them ranked that way, but I can see it being that way.
Whatever you say, I could see it being your way, except for Pittsburgh being last. Don't say that.
Yeah. No, well, you know what? Yeah, I do have Pittsburgh last.
What the hell, Brian?
but see, their last is kind of weird for me because you can only rank them 1 through 4, but I don't really have them as 4. I have them as 2 because between the Ravens and the Browns and the Steelers, I see any of them being second. What I did was I kept the Bengals up because but now it's with a bunch of ifs. As long as they did lose Joe Mixon, because now Joe is in Houston.
Right.
But as long as their running game can support their receivers, as long as Joe Burrow can stay healthy, I see this as a team that has an opportunity to stay at the top. The Ravens, and people are going to bash me about me not wanting to give the Ravens their due. I can't, because they do well in the regular season, and then I ain't talking about how they're gonna do in the playoffs. I know that, but there's just always these mystery games where they just don't show up. And I need to see, even with the great Derrick Henry, because trust me, that does push them up. That was a huge get. But we have to acknowledge the fact, even though we've seen the production of Derrick Henry, and he is definitely a standard of his own. Um, he's up. He's got tread on him.
You're right about that.
Tested, but yes, it is this going to be another year like we've seen in years past in Tennessee? Are we getting Tennessee Derrick Henry? Are we still getting one of the better backs in Derrick Henry? Or did he hit the top last year? And will we start to see some kind of regression? Will the offensive line that allowed Derrick Henry to do what he did so well in Tennessee translate over to Baltimore? On paper, it looks like the Ravens got better by adding Derrick Henry. Um, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, the Baltimore Ravens go as far as Lamar Jackson will take them. When I saw
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting about what you said about all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's interesting what you said about all that is that it just got me to thinking about how quickly running backs fall off the grid. It happens fast, man. It's like one year they're super, and then the next they just fall. Remember what happened with Ezekiel Elliott when he left Dallas, and Patriots thought they were picking up this good running back, and the man barely averaged 3 yards per carry. Didn't even have 1,000-yard season, man. So it happens really fast.
What was the back that was with the Cowboys before Zeke had that one great year, and we were like, damn, I'm gonna have to go back. His name was on the tip of my tongue. He had such a great year, and then the next
I know
year,
exactly who you're talking about.
he barely get over 3.5 yards to carry, and I was like, what happened?
I believe it was number 29. I can't remember.
Oh my gosh! If you said his name, it popped right now. But it was just amazing, and I'm like, man, what happens to these backs? So when you see guys that are year in, year out consistent, like a Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, Murray. Thank you. It was Murray. Yes,
Murray.
it was killing it that year. After that, DeMarco. Yep. Thank you, Tyler. Hey, what's up, T? Thank you, Tyler. Everybody knew exactly who I was talking about. DeMarco Murray. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Anthony. He was killing it. Couldn't be stopped. Next year, who? Where? So and I'm a big Derrick Henry fan. King Henry is my man. The way I see him make defensive backs make business decisions in the heat of the moment, when they see him coming and they have to decide, do I really want to try to tackle this man? Or am I going to do one of them whiff tackles? Because I need to make sure that my defensive coordinator think I really tried. I got to sell it to him that I tried, but I just missed it. But I'm making a business decision. I'm not going to take that hit. I ain't taking that L, But I don't want to be in that Monday meeting after the game, and they keep making the tape go back and forth with me getting trucked by Derrick. Because I know Josh Norman felt that for a very long time.
Give him that Deion Sanders dive, and
I mean, when this grown man just picks you up and carries you with him like you're part of the football. I'm like, that ain't nothing you want on your holiday. So you got to make a business decision. So when I ranked them, I did rank the Bengals based off of what it is I expect them to do. I did put the Ravens technically second because I'm sitting here thinking they gotta push and get at the top of this division. They gotta be in a position to fight for number one, because if they don't, that window's going to start to close. Ravens going to run Henry to the ground. I'm afraid of that too, Anthony. I'm afraid of that. I think that they have him back there to discourage Lamar from running so much, because it's like, hey man, why you gonna run when you can just hand it off to this big dude?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be interested to see how many passes Derrick Henry throws. To be honest with you, because he's pretty good at that too. He's thrown some touchdown passes as a running back. Um, Kent says everyone in the North can come in first. That's the problem. So many ifs and variables. Don't sleep on Burrow, best pocket passer in the NFL, and super confident. Didn't Zach Moss replace Mixon? Yes. Henry with the
Yes, he
stiff
did.
arm and manhoods. Uh, and Robbie says Panthers this season. Yes. wake me wake me up next August. I can be in the coma for a year and tell you that the Panthers are gonna sell $7 seats this year. It's gonna happen. It's a thing. It's a thing. Great weather though to pay $14 for some beers. But anyway, but yeah, so Kent, you're absolutely spot on. Anybody can win the AFC North. Because remember, here's the thing. They gotta play each other twice, each other.
Yeah.
It makes it even harder.
And you just never know, man. Like even going back to last year, we had trouble ranking this particular division.
Yep.
And we were saying, oh, Cincinnati is going to be first. They got to be first based on what they did last year. And then Burrow gets hurt and they all goes to shit.
Yep. And
So
that's exactly what happened.
You never know.
You never know. And Mr. Masagi goes down for the doo-doo. They start going through a quarterback carousel, and at the end of the year, Joe freaking Flacco is their starting quarterback and leading them to the damn playoffs.
And he looks better than freaking Mr. Masagi
at 37 years old.
Yeah, crazy. You just never know what happens.
So, and then with the Steelers, when you think, okay, Kenny Pickett just don't look like it's coming on and everything else, all the Steelers do is continue their streak of non-losing seasons.
Every time.
Damn, Tomlin. Even after we got rid of the offensive coordinator, got a new coordinator, and then they brought in Ducky for a couple of, was it Ducky or it
was Mason Rudolph last year.
They brought in, yeah. They brought in Mason Rudolph, and it looked like a whole nother team.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? This division is absolutely crazy, which is why I started with it first, because for the team that I put forth, which was the Steelers, could damn well win the division. Would not be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised if any of them win the division.
I would not either. I wouldn't either.
So the only reason I ranked them that way is only because I'm sitting there looking at the Ravens going, come on, man, y'all got to do something. I'm looking at the Browns and I'm going, okay, if Mr. Masagi finally had a full training camp, steps in this season, now you got Chubb back. I think is Kareem Hunt still there, or did they lose him? I can't even remember that now.
I have to check.
You know what? I got it. I got the depth chart right here. Let me see. Cleveland Browns. So the Browns, as far as running backs, Nick Chubb, yeah, he's gone. But they have Jerome Ford. They've got Deontay Foreman. So they've got a formidable. And then, as far as the quarterbacks this year for Mr. Masagi and the Masagiacs, like that, they've got. This is crazy. They got it. They got. If he goes down, they're good. They got famous Jameis, so he can eat a couple of W's. But then they have Tyler Huntley right behind him. And they still have Thompson Robinson in that fourth spot, who'll probably be on the practice squad. But they've got a depth when it comes to quarterbacks and running backs. Receivers, Jerry Jeudy came in from Denver. They've got Elijah Moore. Of course, they have Amari Cooper. So I like what they have as weapons. David Njoku is back as their tight end. So they've got a lot to work with from an offensive standpoint. It's going to be the defense that's going to be the thing. It's a 4-3 defense. Myles Garrett is still anchoring that defense, but he's getting older. You know, he's been around for a while. So hopefully some of the other younger guys that have come up with Cleveland are ready to step up. But that's going to be huge, Rand. That's going to be absolutely huge for Cleveland.
That whole division's just going to be war. It always is, but I mean, seriously, this year, man.
I don't believe in trusting Chubb this season. What?
He had a very severe knee injury last year, and I don't believe he's fully recovered. He might even start on the pup list.
That's a good point, but I still love the other running backs behind him too. Even if he can't start full speed, maybe you need more of a mixed two back. Maybe you use him on the first couple of downs, and then maybe you bring in like a Deontay Foreman on third downs and third and shorts and stuff like that. I got no problem with that. I think they overuse Nick Chubb. But, and I agree with you, when a running back has a severe knee injury, normally it takes that following year for them to really feel comfortable with their cuts and things like that. And Chubb is a quick change of direction back. That is a great point. I can't say that that won't have anything to do with it. Kim Morrow, what's up, cousin Kim? Always with a Let's Go Panthers all the way out there in California. Yes, ma'am. So I do agree with that assessment with Chubb. We could see that. With the Ravens, though, Rand just dipping back into the Ravens, they got Lamar. Of course, they got Derrick Henry, Justice Hill. They're not as deep with their backs as I like with Cleveland. Their receivers, they got Zay Flowers. Of course, Odell Beckham is he in Miami? Is that where he went? I think that's where he is.
He's gone from them.
Yeah, so they got Zay, DeMarcus Walker.
He's Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got that going on. I don't like their depth at receiver. Nelson Aguilar is old. So we'll see how that goes. So are they gonna really have to lean heavily on that passing, on that running game? Or is Mark Andrews going to end up being a de facto receiver again and being his favorite target as usual? Rashad Bateman should step up this year. Like I said, I like Zay Flowers, but past that, I want to see who's going to be that number 3. Who's going to be that stretch receiver that's going to be able to get downfield when they run a lot of play action and stuff like that. That's going to be real interesting for me to see. When it comes to your Steelers, of course, you've got the Russell Wilson.
Baltimore ain't going nowhere.
Huh?
So don't forget that defense of Baltimore ain't going nowhere. Never does.
That defense is not going anywhere. That defense will keep you in games as long as you keep those games close. This season is going to be crazy because all the players changes going to different teams. Yeah, man. We'll talk about that too on week 3 about how this salary cap and these quarterbacks getting paid. We just saw Jordan Love get paid. Oh my God, they had to pay him. The Cowboys are struggling with: are we gonna make Dak Prescott a $60 million quarterback? All these different things because again, salary caps are not moving as fast as quarterback salaries. So the more percentages that you're giving to your quarterbacks, this is why you have to hit really good when you draft a quarterback with the overall pick, because in 4 years you're going to have to sit there and give them an extension and get them off their rookie deal and now start paying these guys $40-50 million, which now inhibits your ability to re-sign other good players that you have or bring in other players via free agency. So being able to hook up on a CJ Stroud with your team and have him grow early with your talent gives you 3 to 4 years of that rookie salary to be able to grow people around him. Once you have to start paying your quarterback a whole lot of money, it makes it harder and harder for you to be able to do that. Kent says receiver salaries are current to the man, and you're right, Kent. That's the other thing. And do they need to be that damn high? Do you need to pay a Devontae Adams $25 million? CeeDee Lamb is looking for $28 million. Do we need to pay a number 1 receiver $28 million? Do we? Is that what we're doing? We devalued the running back position, Rand. Where running backs would be happy if they can get, $12, $14 million. We paying wide receivers, number 1s, $28 to $30 million. Tyreek done blew it off. Wait till Justin Jefferson. Oh my God. What is that going to be? And where does it stop? When does it self-correct? It's going to be absolutely crazy. CD want 35, Jefferson cheese. CD, Jerry ain't going to give you 35 because he going to say 10 million of it is on the top of your helmet.
Yeah,
he going to say because you playing for that star, That's a good 8 to 10 million right there because you play for the Stars. You know how Jerry is. Jerry ain't gonna pay you no $35 million. He wouldn't pay Amari 20. He got Amari from the Raiders.
No, no.
All they had to pay Amari was 20, and Amari ended up in Cleveland. He ain't paying you 35. It, it ain't gonna happen. He don't want to pay Dak. He ain't. He ain't. No, no. That's not gonna happen. And Anthony says, "Is Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith the next era of Lewis and Reed? Ed Reed. Roquan is no joke, man.
Well, that's exactly why I said that defense ain't going nowhere for Baltimore. All they do is reload, man. They're going to be just as formidable as they were last year.
And I think that's going to play. Rand, I'll put that final note on that. That's why I think they'll be in the mix more so than I think of the offense. I think their success is going to be driven by their defense more than their offense because I think not that their offense can't do enough to win, but it'll be because the defense is going to spark them and put them in a position to have opportunities to win. I think their defense is going to show up more than their offense. The offense is going to be inconsistent.
Exactly.
I still just don't trust Lamar. I just don't. I know there's some Raven fans out there they're gonna come for me. I get it. I want him to, guys. I want him to be able to take that next level. I just don't know if he will or if he can't. I had my blinders on with Cam for a long, long time, and the signs were there. I'm not gonna have them same blinders on with Lamar this time. I'm not gonna do it. You know, I see him taking strides, but I also see some things that he does to hold himself back. So I see that kind of change, and I see his playoff success change as well. I'm gonna be skeptical. But Rand, I was looking at your Steelers.
Lamar Jackson is a regular season champion.
Yeah, exactly. Paper champion. You know, and congratulations. We have water cooler champions. I mean, he won just as much as they did. I ain't trying to down. I ain't trying to down the water cooler champion. I mean, that's a prestigious award. At least we've been doing that for quite some time. But I'm just saying, we sitting on the couch too, Lamar. Anyway, the Steelers depth chart right now has Russell Wilson at 1 and Justin Fields at 2, Kyle Allen at 3. That could definitely change. Hold on. I thought Jefferson signed 4 years, 140 with 110 fully guaranteed. Did he? Well, I mean, yeah, but that's 31, $32 million a year. That's a lot. That's a lot. So yeah, Anthony. But is CD Justin Jefferson?
Hell no. I'm sorry, man. He is the best option in Dallas. That does not mean he's the best wide receiver in the NFC. No.
Exactly. I mean, when you didn't have nobody else to throw to, and you the de facto number 1, I mean, you should be getting a bunch of balls your way. Now, yeah, he got.
Yeah, who was their number 2? Can anybody even tell me who the number 2 was?
It says Randall schooled me on Lamar. Folds under the lights. He does. The Dak of the NFC. He is. Against Cleveland, the defense saved him. Anthony says, but is Dak worth $60 million? 2 words. Hell no. And I really was going to use another word. Cook was number 2. Brandon Cook, who never stays healthy. I used to love Brandon Cook. I would never put him on my fantasy team no more because he would always find his way on the IR. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this with you. He's that carrot that they dangle in front of you. Oh man, he can blow the top off defenses. Man, he need to blow the top off a hot pocket because he's gonna be sitting on the bench just eating and watching with the rest of us. That's all he can do. Every year he get hurt. But Kent, you're absolutely right. He's the Dak of the NFC. Absolutely, Anthony. I will say F no this time about Dak being worth $60 million. There is no way in the world. But the problem is, who are you going to replace him with? And we'll talk about that more next week when we get to the Cowgirls. But that's a problem that a lot of these teams are in. They go so far down the rabbit hole. Do you stick with the guy that knows the team, that knows the culture, that knows the players, that knows the offense and everything else like that? Or do you sit there? Because if you take a Dak out of Dallas, for example, and now you're going to replace him with fill in the blank, in some ways, are you basically saying that you're starting over?
Yeah, you will be. You will be.
Yeah. So, and then what message does that send to the organization, to the fans, and to the players? Hey, we just got rid of Dak. They just brought in damn Trey Lance. We must be in rebuild.
Ain't no doubt you're in rebuild if that's your answer at quarterback. Yeah.
Ain't plug and play. We're not gonna put in Trey Lance like how Kyle Shanahan does in San Francisco and brings in Mr. Irrelevant, and we damn near going to the Super Bowl almost. That's not the situation. Most of the time, when you take out your key quarterback, good or bad, we're in the rebuild mode, which is why it's going to be interesting. And we'll talk about that too next week when we're looking at a team like the Vikings losing losing their piece, uh, Kurt, Kurt, what's his name? My boy?
Cousins.
Cousins. When they lose Cousins, and now they got Sam Darnold.
Whew, that's a hell of a fall.
and how is that going to affect the aforementioned Justin Fields, but Justin Jefferson? How is that going to affect? So it's going to be interesting, definitely, to see that. What did your Steelers do though? You've got Najee back, you got Jalen Warren technically second behind him, and then you got Kadero Patterson now on the team as that third running back. You got Pickens, you got guys got rid of Deontay. He's now in Carolina. What do you expect from your receivers this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
So we got Smith, which is the new offensive coordinator. He's coming from Atlanta. He was head coach at Atlanta. Now OC for us. Run first principle. We built the whole line so we could have an easier time running the ball. We got two studs as far as the running back is concerned. And we got a definite number one receiver. That's not an issue. We got some problems with number two. I think we will be looking at a pickup the last week of cuts right before the preseason to try to find a wide receiver with some speed and some production. Because right now it's kind of a thing by committee. We got this might be our number two right now. It's going to be more upon the game and the defense for Pittsburgh, and until Russ can kind of get things figured out.
That's the only reason I put them technically four is I need to see what Russell Wilson is going to be able to do removed from Denver. I need to see what Justin and if he can't produce, he's going to probably be on a short leash. Justin Fields is waiting. But last seen Justin Fields, he was struggling a little bit. Now, some of that wasn't his
doubt be on
some of that wasn't Justin's fault. So we'll see how that goes. The dynamic between Najee and Jalen Warren, that'll be interesting to see. But I really need to see what these receivers are going to be able to do. Was it really Kenny Pickett not being able to get them the ball? Was it them not being able to get open? How's your tight end Freiermuth going to play into the offense? He's a really good ball receiver. So how is he going to mix into that? So really being able to see what the Steelers do. Now, the Steelers are always formidable when it comes to defense. I hear there's a guy named Watt that's still around. So he is definitely a force multiplier and game changer. I want to, and him and Hayward, I want to see if those guys can stay healthy as they get older and older. But that defense, I don't think is going anywhere. Again, that defense can potentially keep the offense afloat until they get their legs up underneath them. So it'll be interesting to see how the Steelers start to be able to move the ball down the field, or does it become a game of field position where they're basically relying on special teams to get them in positive field position so they're not having to do 80-yard, 90-yard drives.
The thing with Pittsburgh historically has always been this, and not just, all throughout history. I'm just going to use the past 5 years as a little brief example. No matter who the quarterback is, they're good for 9 wins. Duck, we had Duck Rogers at quarterback about
Yep.
3-4 years ago, and the Steelers still got 9 wins. Didn't go to the playoffs, but came within a game of going to the playoffs. Kenny Pickett last year and Mason Rudolph, quarterback by committee, still got an aging Big Ben a couple of years ago with an arm about to fall, still got to the playoffs.
That
As
is true.
phenomenal as the Baltimore Ravens have been over the years, as hard-nosed defensively as the Ravens have been, we've had no problems beating Baltimore over the years. It just
That is true.
works out that way every single year. So that's
Mhm.
why I can't ever sign off on them being in last place in the division because it just never happens. It never happens.
That is true. They,
So,
you know,
but we'll
that's
see. You could be
but that's
right.
what
I could be dead wrong.
I think I'm probably wrong only because, to your point, Pittsburgh always finds a way. You can't see
They
it based
always
on
find a way.
you can't see it based on anything, but they just find a way. And something has to be said for that. That is a culture of we will continue to win even when everybody else is looking like, hey, there's no way they can do this. They just find a way to do it. You got to give them credit for that. You just have to. I'm sorry, I had to reload us again on Instagram. Instagram, for some reason, only allows live streams for 1 hour. So at the top of the hour, whether it's this show or our Thursday show, I have to go in and reload the show uh, on Instagram. So I just took care of that. So we are back on IG as well. Okay. But no, you're absolutely right. So let's dive into these other three divisions. Let's look at the East. Rand, this division here drives me absolutely crazy because and this is the conversation we had last year about this division. This was the question I asked last year
Mm-hmm.
and the year before that. I've asked it at least the last 2 years. Is Oh, hold on. Let me see what Kent said. Steelers 5-1 in the North with no quarterback. Savage. Yes. Um.
Yeah, he's talking about last year they went 5-1 against the Browns, Bengals, and Ravens with no quarterback.
That is
They
sad.
just always do it, man. They just always do it.
I mean, you look at it on paper and you go, "Well, there's no way," and then they just do it. So
Mm-hmm.
hats off to Tomlin and his crew for coaching your players up to be able to face that kind of adversity. That's amazing. Looking at the AFC East, I've asked this at least the last 2 years. Has the Buffalo Bills window finally closed?
Yes.
Because they keep teetering on not being able to get over the hump to beat the Chiefs and everything else. And you've got other teams in your division continually getting better. The Patriots, of course, they lost Brady. We know that that was going to be a work in progress. They finally got rid of Mac Jones. So they're a little bit in disarray. But the Bills, I mean, Josh Allen is only getting older and he's taking a lot of hits. You got Trubisky as his backup. You got James Cook as the running back still, and he had his moments. He had his moments, but and then now they've got Curtis Samuel from the from the Commanders as a receiver, and they've got Mac Hollins, and I got Mark. They got MVS as one of their receivers. Man, this receiving group does not scare me. And of course, let's the elephant in the room. Diggs is
No.
gone.
And
What did they
that
do?
is the main problem I see with Buffalo. You're asking, is the window closed?
Yeah,
Maybe they could get to the playoffs. Maybe. But as far as getting to the Super Bowl, that window is shut, man. That window is shut. It's not opening for the next couple of seasons. Um,
agree, agree.
They have absolutely no wide receivers right now. If you go into the season depending on Curtis Samuel as your number one, and then a rookie Keon Coleman as your number two, you got problems.
You got
Diggs left them
problems.
handicapped badly. And
Yep.
on top of Diggs leaving, they also lost their number 2 last year. So
Yep. And
yeah,
I remember this time
it's
last
going to be some
year.
hard.
This time last year, Rand, I remember saying, it's funny how I can remember a year ago at 50 now. I remember saying I would have been surprised if Diggs made it past the trade deadline on the Bills. And he did somehow, but I could feel it coming.
Yeah,
So he did make it, but I knew it was still he was still on borrowed time. And the whole point of that was is that you paid Josh Allen his money. Now you have nothing around him. So now you have an expensive quarterback, an offense that looks depleted at best. You've got Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, the tight ends, Curtis Samuel, the little Demir Bird as a receiver as well. There's nothing on this roster that scares me from an offensive standpoint.
absolutely not. No,
But
James Cook is a been back, so you quite a bit this season. Of course, you're gonna hear Josh Allen, but the thing with Josh Allen that scares me is he's not had his injury time yet. I just wish that on anybody. I feel it coming.
well, especially if the running game doesn't establish itself, Rand, we know Josh has very little patience and will take off and run. To your point, the older you get and the more hits you take, um, footnote
Yeah,
Cam Newton, it starts to take a toll on everything as far as your mechanics, your feet, the way that you throw, um, you sitting there second guessing your hot reads and then your secondary reads because in the back of your mind that clock starts picking up faster and faster, and you don't give plays time to develop because now you think fight or flight. I gotta take off and run. Now, when you run and become a running back, a de facto running back, you are prone to take hits that running backs take. Will he be able to hold up? And attached to that question, being a Steeler fan, do you trust Mitch Trubisky to come in and back his ass up?
man, hell no, hell no. If Mitchell Trubisky plays any amount of games for the Buffalo Bills this season,
The season's over. Yeah, because you know who his backup would be? Ben DiNucci, back from the Cowboys.
yeah,
Man, yeah, the win as you said, I think their window is closed. Um, do I think that they can be a decent team? It depends. It really does. It depends on, to me, where that running game is. Because if your running game isn't good, your ability to establish play action is going to be extremely hard because everybody's going to know that you are a one dimensional team. Play action only works when you can sell the fact that you might run the ball. But if you have an inability to run the ball, play action now becomes nothing because they're going to pin their ears back because they know that you're going to have to throw that ball. So then, if that pass rush can really get to the quarterback, well, you're dead. You're dead. So I don't see a lot for Buffalo. Could they surprise me? Yes. Where did you rank the AFC East? And I'll tell you where I got mine at.
so I have the I have the East ranked like this. Buffalo's window closed. I think they may be able to still get to the playoffs just based on the incredible play of the one man show Josh Allen. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Allen's going to be severely hampered this year. I really, honestly do.
yeah.
And on top of that, you have a team in the East that's the class of the division, maybe even the whole conference. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, I'm talking about the New York Jets. The
Yes, sir.
Jets are ready to step over Buffalo. Got the
Yep.
Jets coming in number one as long as they can keep Rodgers halfway healthy, halfway standing, halfway decent. Look what they did last year with their carousel of quarterbacks. Um, Jets still almost had a winning season, but I have them coming in first this year. Buffalo second. I got Miami, who also lost a ton on the offensive line and the defensive line, especially coming in third. Of course, New England, which has just absolutely nothing in the cupboards. I got them pulling up the number
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a consent
4.
for all of those reasons that you said. So I won't dive into that as much. It'll be interesting too when you look at the Patriots. I have like I said, I have the exact same order. I've got Jets, Bills, and Pats as well. The Patriots are still in somewhat what I would call disarray. Matt Jones is no longer there. They signed Jacoby Brissett. Right now, he is their starter. He is Mr. Consistent. Now, is there going to be a part of the season where Drake May becomes that starter? Possibly. Could they just be letting Jacoby kind of warm the seat for a little bit and see if they can transition Drake May into it? I don't see what you got to lose by starting him in week 6 or 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Or depending on how bad your season is, if you start him sooner, because now you just want to get him some actual game play and stuff like that. If it looks like your season is over, they've got Ramondre Stevenson coming back. Um, they got Gibson as his backup, Kendrick Bourne in receiver. They've got Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper as your tight ends. So it'll be interesting to see what New England can do. There's one thing that I believe that they will be formidable with will be their defense. I think their defense will still be okay. But that defense, if they cannot keep them within a touchdown difference in a game is not going to matter because again, I'm the one that says every single year, bad offenses ex, uh, uh, can make really good defenses look mediocre because you wear them out. Third and out, third and out, third and out. You wear your defense out. That's what I'm afraid of. If they can't move the ball down the field, it won't matter how good this defense is. You're going to make them. You're going to take the extraordinary and make them ordinary. So that's kind of what I see right now for
agree.
uh, the AFC East. I just don't see Buffalo doing it. Yeah, I'm de facto giving them second only because, and it's not that I'm giving Buffalo second because I think Buffalo is second. I think in any other division they'd be last. I think if you put them in the AFC North, they'd be last.
Yeah,
I think if you put them in the AFC West, they'd be last. And that's with Denver and the Raiders. I think the only reason that I got them second is because they're in the freaking East, and it's because the Patriots are warming the bottom very well, and we just don't know who the Dolphins are, because they've lost a lot, and they seem to underachieve when playing teams that were competitive. Now, when they played teams ran that weren't worth a damn, oh, they scored 70 points on Denver. They hang up a bunch of crazy numbers
yeah, they
on
blow them out.
that were like straight doo-doo teams, oh, they would beat the brakes off of them. But when it was
Yeah,
a competitive team, not a damn thing.
wet
So
the
I'm
bed,
not,
wet the bed.
I'm not falling for that fool's gold with the Miami Dolphins. Will they be an entertaining team on certain days? Absolutely. Am I ready to say that they've ascended to second in the division? No. So Buffalo kind of gets it by default more than
Who they
because
don't?
of anything that they did.
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy. But like I said, in any other division in the AFC, they be last to me, even in the South. Which let's talk about the South. We've got the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans ran. This was a surprise division last year, as we know. The Houston Texans did rise to the top. Now we don't know. In Tennessee, we saw them kind of go backwards. Tannehill with the Titans. Sunshine with the Jacksonville Jaguars started to come in at the end. The Colts banked a lot on Anthony Richardson, but they just kept running him and running him on goal line touchdowns, and he eventually got hurt. Um, I understand he's healthy. Looking at the Indianapolis Colts, so he is their number one, but he has a formidable backup in the ageless Joe Flacco. This is where Joe ended up. Jonathan Taylor is that primary running back, but you have a capable running back behind him in Michael Pittman Jr. as well as Trey Sermon. I like their running backs. Josh Downs, um, uh, that's Greg Ward. That's the only receivers that I really see circumstance. So the receivers kind of worry me a little bit. But their running game really, really does look good. But I am worried about their receivers as far as Indianapolis.
Yeah. So for this one, of course, we got one team in my eyes anyway. It's the absolute class of the division. They were there last year without the addition of a one Stephon Diggs. Now you add a Stephon Diggs to an already talented group of wide receivers with a CJ Stroud and with Joe Mixon at running back coming over from Cincinnati. You're looking at a team that's going to put up even more numbers than they put up last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Dalton Schultz also going to be a formidable tight end for them, and the defense is good. So I got definitely the Texans coming in first. After that, I got Jacksonville, and I'm going to say Tennessee is going to be last, just
Okay.
because they don't have anything left after the Derrick Henry uh, trade. And then, of course, number 3 team is Indianapolis. I got to wait and see what Richardson shows me after this injury.
Okay. So we were so close. I think I want to see if Stroud is going to hit a little bit of a sophomore slump. And I don't say it's sophomore slump so much because of what he's not going to be able to do, but for two reasons. Can't hit on one of those is their schedule is going to be brutal this year. They start in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, no, no. I'm sorry. That was preseason. Yeah, that was preseason. Um, is that right? Am I looking at the right schedule? Lord have mercy. Let me see. So that was August the 9th. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong schedule. So they start the regular season against the Colts. Then they got to play the Bears. Then they got the Vikings, the Jags, Bills, Patriots. Some win games. Then they got the Packers, Jets, Lions, Cowboys. Some other notable games: the Chiefs, Ravens. Yeah, they got the NFC North this year. They got then of course the Titans. So they got some challenging games, and they got some winnable games. So I'm not writing them off. I actually have them number 2. We got our 1 and 2 flip, and I can see it going either way. I think based on what I saw with Jacksonville at the end of the season, with Trevor Lawrence really finding a groove with his players and Etienne another year in, I think that they may have a little bit more to say securing that number 1. But I got the Texans with them 1 and 2. Same reason with the Colts. I got them number 3 because I think that they have I think the cupboards are not as bare as what the Tennessee Titans will be facing. I think the Titans will really be retooling. They got to establish a whole new identity as far as who they're going to be. When you look at their roster now, you look at Will Levitt's being handed basically the reins. Mason Rudolph is his backup. Malik Willis is now downgraded to number 3. Their top running back is
Man,
going to, yeah, their top running back is going to be Tony Pollard. Um, and we'll really see if Tony is going to be that every down back that Dallas had wanted him to be previously. But then they have Tajay Spears right behind him. I love their receivers in Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins. I think with Levis's arm, that's going to open up a lot for Ridley, especially across the middle. They also have Tyler Boyd, who Cincinnati wasn't able to keep. So that will also help stretch their game out a little bit as well. So I do like what they have, but I need to see how Will Levis is going to be able to gel with that team. Right now, I feel like the dual threat of Anthony Richardson may keep Indianapolis just a little bit ahead of Tennessee right now. But I could also see those two flip flopping. I could easily see the Colts coming in last and the Titans coming in third. I could see the Texans coming in first and the Jags coming in second. But I'm pretty convinced that the 1-2 is going to be the Jags and the Texans one way or the other. So I agree with you on that.
Yep.
And
So what we
that's
got?
going to be an interesting division. I think a lot of it is going to come down to coaching, and I think D'Amico Ryan's what he did with the first year with those Texans and getting them to believe after all those years of ineptitude, I think it's going to definitely pay off.
Definitely
Wait,
that.
we are down to our last division. I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue with this one, Rand.
We might. What you got? What you got?
Okay, so we got the
I don't think
AFC.
we'll
Huh?
have any issue with who's going to be one.
No.
I don't think we'll have any issue with who's going to be number one.
Now, two might be a little iffy, and I could go either way with it. But we got the Kansas City Chiefs trying to run it back one more again to be the first team to do a three-peat when it comes to Super Bowl. So we got the Chiefs. They're going to come back. Of course, they have their Michael Jordan, Patrick Mahomes. Carson Wentz sits behind him, and I'm hearing Carson Wentz is doing really, really good for the Chiefs. That's good. The running game has always baffled me with the Chiefs because sometimes it just does not always rise to the occasion. But Pacheco did really turn it on at the end of the year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I remember when he first came out as a rookie, you sung his praises because he was just this dynamic back, and we really expected at some point him to take over as the lead back, and it just never materialized. But he's been able to hold on to that roster spot, so give him credit for that. His demise has been widely exaggerated in that case. The biggest issue to me, Rand, has always been when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, though, are their receivers. Because Patrick Mahomes does what Tom Brady did. He takes okay receivers and he makes them better, as long as they stop dropping the damn ball. Because when you see Rashid Rice, Hollywood Brown, who they've gotten now, Sky Moore, McKill Hardman, of course they lost MVS, and then let's not bring up Mr. Drop It all the time, Kadarius Toney. It's a wonder they won the damn Super Bowl. But it's just kind of crazy.
I'm telling you.
It's that Mahomes-Kelsey connection that keeps them going. How long can this Mahomes-Kelsey connection continue to overshadow a lot of times what I would call a lacking wide receiver room? Will the rest of the division finally catch up to them?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's crazy
The
though.
Chiefs just kind of like Pittsburgh to me. Like a lot of things don't make sense on paper, but they just continue to do it. Every single year, continue to do it. So,
and you know what? That goes back to the same thing with your Steelers. To me, that starts to seep into coaching.
Yeah.
You got to give it to Andy Reid. I'm sorry, Kent, I missed your comment.
Absolutely, one of the best in the game.
Yeah, Kent, I missed your comment. Colts 9-8 with Minshew. That's a good point. That even with Gardner Minshew, who is funny because I missed your comment by mistake, but now we got to tie Gardner Minshew into now being awarded by Antonio Pierce the starting position for the Raiders. And we're getting to that in a second.
Yeah.
Robbie says Super Bowl runs through KC. It does until otherwise established. It does. And then Ken also said Kansas City Hollywood shoulder, Rice pending suspension, and it won't matter.
It never seems to matter. No,
because as long as you got Patrick Mahomes throwing behind the back passes, they just find a way to win. Even when you look at Normally, when I look at a team year over year, one of the first things I always ask, Rand, we always talk about this: what did you do in the offseason to get better? When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs on paper, the answer is not a damn thing.
Not much. No.
Nothing.
And we keep on saying it's going to come back to haunt them this year. It's going to come back to haunt them this year. And every year they just make me look stupid, man.
And you remember how many times did I say to you, man, the Chiefs will get on my nerves because a lot of times they will play down to their competition. Like,
Yeah.
they still, like, why do they have to have so many damn fourth quarter comebacks? Because they sleepwalk through the first three quarters and then all of a sudden they just come back on you and win the game. And I'm like, why did y'all have to do that? Why do y'all keep doing that? Eventually you're gonna try that one too many times and you're gonna get bit. But they don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. So until further notice, Robbie, you're absolutely right. The Super Bowl runs through Kansas City. No ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care what all these Dallas Cowboy memes say. Um, you're not going to just win against the Chiefs because their coach is better than yours. Their quarterback is better than yours. And they don't need a $35 million receiver.
No, they don't.
He's in Miami. you know. So I think they just keep doing it, and it's just amazing to watch them do it. I don't know if they're going to finally get bit or not. We would be remiss, Rand, if we did not address the elephant in the room with the Los Angeles Chargers. They have a new coach. Brandon Staley is gone. In comes Captain Comeback himself, the one and the only Jim Harbaugh. How do you see that playing into this year, especially with the continued development of Justin Herbert and his backup Easton Stick? I just wanted to say Easton Stick.
Just had to get that out, huh?
Easton Stick. It's one of the best names in the NFL.
This was a tough division for me to line up. He sounds like a race car driver. So, yeah. So this division to line up 2 and 3. No argument with number 4. I got I don't know. You might have an argument with it, but I got the Broncos coming in last. 2 and 3. I got the Chargers just bit over the Raiders. Just based on the quarterback situation. That LA has got a whole bunch of brand new wide receivers coming in. And they got the new coach who's going to be, coming in with a new philosophy. But I just think that Herbert is so talented that he could at least, and I'm not talking playoffs or anything like that ridiculous for LA, but I think that LA can at least be number 2 in this division. So I got Chargers, then the Raiders, because I'm not sold on Aiden, whatever his name is, or Garner Minshew. More than number 3. And I mean, they're the Raiders. To otherwise, to they prove me otherwise, they're just going to be the Raiders. So that's how I got it.
We're you know what? We're almost there, and I can definitely come to where you're at. I'm typing your picks. That's why I'm doing that. So you got the Chargers second, and then you got the Raiders, and then you got the Broncos.
Yeah.
So I'm not that far off. I've got the Chiefs, of course, and then I got the Chargers. So we're both there. And for the same reason, I think Justin Herbert can do a lot with Gus Edwards. Gus is a decent running back, but he's also a good running back that can catch the ball out the back. So if the receivers do get jammed up, he is that nice dump off, and he's shifty enough that he can get around those edges a lot of times and pick up those 3rd and 10s and turn them into a 4th and 3, where maybe you decide to go for it. Maybe you decide it gives you a better field position and things like that. The receivers, you got DJ Shark. You've got Will Disley and Hayden Hurst as your tight ends. But I think Justin Herbert is a guy that can just throw open the guys and stuff like that, and they may benefit a lot more from that. I trust Justin Herbert as a quarterback in this division more than I trust what the Broncos and the Raiders have, as you alluded to. When I got down to 3rd, I picked the Broncos.
Yeah.
And the only reason I picked the Broncos is Sean Payton got a lot to prove. He got to prove that he can be this Hall of Fame coach without one Drew Brees. He didn't do it with one Hall of Famer in Russell Wilson. So he is on, in my opinion, very, very short time. If I looked at a hot seat in the AFC, Denver has to be one of those because, okay, you didn't like you didn't like Russell. We got rid of his ass and we paid a whole lot of dead salary cap money for him.
Yep. And paid a whole lot of money to get your ass too.
Exactly. So now you got Bo Nix. Of course, he's a rook, but you've put him in the listen. You got Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, and Zach Wilson. Obviously, Bo Nix is the starter. Obviously. Hopefully, you're not doing the Bryce Young thing and saying, I saw something different in OTAs, in training camp, and I'm still going with Bo Nix. Hopefully, Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson were just obviously that much of a downgrade from Bo, and that's why you're going with Bo. But I have to give Denver also credit. I like what they have in the running game with Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, very, very good backs. Cortland Sutton, good receiver. Tim Patrick, good receiver, even though they lost Jerry Jeudy. I like their weapons more than I like the Raiders. I love Antonio Pierce. Don't get me wrong, but I do not trust Gardner Minshew and Aiden or whatever his name is as their backup. That's the only reason I gave a head up to the Denver Broncos is between Sean Payton being this damn guru that I ain't seen yet, and him having these weapons, and him acting like it was Russ that was keeping him from being this aforementioned guru. Now I need to see him do it because this is just as much a prove it year for Sean Payton as it is for any other player on any team.
Right.
So I need to see him. I need to see him do it. The proof gonna be in the pudding. Now, if he doesn't do it, is it easy for me to see him as number fourth? Absolutely, because I love the way that Antonio Pierce has come in and infused that team, that city, and got everybody believing again. Did they maybe play above themselves a little bit last year? I think so.
Absolutely.
Because he came in, like when you're kind of being abused, and then somebody kind of comes in and rights the ship a little bit, you play out yourself a little bit, and they've been doing that. Are they gonna? Is Gardner Minshew going to get tunnel vision and try to throw Devontae Adams even when he isn't open into double, triple coverage because he's Devontae Adams? What is Jacoby Myers going to be able to offer on the other side of the ball? Will Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, you can basically, in my mind, flip them out. I don't care which one. Will the quarterback of the LA Raiders, LA, God dang it, that's the Las Vegas Raiders, be able to get the ball to their receivers and take the pressure off of Zamir White, Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah, those running backs to be able to move the ball up and down the field? Will they be able to have a balanced attack? It's going to come down to that. Their defense, I like their defense. Max Crosby is a beast. It starts there. And they got some other dudes too. They got some other dudes that can play some defense. And I think that they can keep them in games as long as games are close. But when you really need that offense to spark, can you put the ball in Gardner Minshew's hands? Can he hook up with Devontae Adams without trying to force it down the field to Devontae and put the ball in harm's way for some opportunistic defensive backs to jump in there and pounce on it and get a bunch of interceptions, pick sixes, and things like that? That's what I'm worried about with Minshew. I think Uncle Rico is a good dude. He's been around and he's been a steady hand. But in a division like that, where you can't afford to get behind in that division because your tombstone can be written in that division in October if you do. So we really need to see what the Raiders are going to be, what their identity is going to be. If they have their identity of the coach, it really gives them a good position to win a lot of games. then otherwise I wouldn't see them win. But we will see.
Well, my friend, we made it.
We got all 16 of those done. I'm recording our picks on a spreadsheet. That way I can kind of look at it throughout the year and then be able to see, hey, where do we really come up with that and everything else, and let the fans know too. Hey, we're not just pulling this out of our ass. We've really been analyzing these teams and really trying to see if we can get a good grip on them. Kent says, laugh my butt off on the Bo Nix comment. He looks great in the preseason. Yeah, but by default, he's going to be the starter because you got Stiddy and you got Zach Wilson behind him, and all Zach knows how to do is hook up with his teammates' moms.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Oh my God, he's the what's my man that played for the Cavs? Devontae.
Devontae.
Yeah, that's with everybody's moms, and the kid did a quick release like Breeze. Yeah, we need to see that. If he can do that and really spin that ball, he may have a good opportunity to help the Broncos. But y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. It's been so long.
Man, appreciate y'all, man.
Thank y'all for all the awesome comments. Keep it coming. Make sure that you share the show. We will be here all the way through Super Bowl. It's literally 26 weeks of shows that we do every single year, and this is number 5. So we're right on that 100th episode. COVID shortened the season a little bit, so that was a little different. But outside of that, we would have been over 100 shows by now. But we are right there on the cusp of it. We couldn't do it without you guys. We love you. We thank you. Let's get ready to rumble. Robbie Jenkins, you right. Hey,
yeah, baby.
Let's get on that primetime water cooler mountain. Let's do it right there. Let's get college football going. Let's bet and bet responsibly. And we're going to have a hell of a 2024-2025 season. I cannot wait. Oh, my gosh. Lord have mercy. I clicked on something by mistake. Rand, thanks for joining again. We will see y'all next week. Thank you very much. Y'all take care. Y'all be easy. We will see y'all again next time. Peace.